Hello everyone, this is Kuroshiro Gaming and I am here with another new in-depth analysis / guide for our newest hunter, Clerk, the Kagan. And in my most humble opinion, I believe she could potentially be on par or even better than Dream Witch. Phase 0, Presence 0. Kagan has 4 abilities. He is being able to record survivors' actions for a continuous 8 seconds. Second ability is being able to use the record to either drop down pallets, block windows, or undecode a cipher machine. Kagan can also record her own interactions such as breaking pallets and hitting. Hitting survivor only applies 50% of the damage dealt, meaning that it is a chip hit and not a full-fledged normal hit. The same applies with abnormal. You can record yourself using abnormal, but only 50% of the original abnormal will be applied onto the recording. The third ability allows you to play the record as you should be playing, or play it at a reverse. Meaning, take an example, if a survivor was decoding a cipher for 10 seconds and you managed to record that, you can press reverse and of course it'll be indicating you saying the record has been reversed. You can put this record onto a cipher and the cipher will be undecoded, let's say, by 10% because it's only being recorded for 10%. Those are her 3 main abilities with Presence 0. Now for Clerk's fourth skill, is Spectator if I'm not wrong. You can automatically lock onto a rocket chair on the cipher machine or the exit gate with a bird point view. That is her fourth skill, of course, with no presence. Now then, moving on to phase 1. Phase 1 is basically invalid if Clerk records a survivor interacting a window or a cipher machine. Once they leave the cipher and Clerk takes the record back, this cipher or / window cannot be touched within the next 10 seconds. I may be wrong, maybe this is applicable in presence with no presence, but I'm just gonna stay safe and say this can happen only on presence 1. Now then, for presence 2. Presence 2, basically in a nutshell, Kagan cuts out all the useless running that the survivor does during the record and only applies the interactions. Meaning, take it for an example, if a doctor was running for 7 seconds and then during the last second she placed down a pallet, phase 2 allows this record to completely cut out the running and only apply the interaction, the dropping pallet part. And of course, the last ability is her Bird Eye View, which is very similar to Sculptor's Chisel, but instead this skill allows you to lock on to chairs, undeciphered cipher machines, or exit gates. Now then, for this skill in particular, this is very useful to use due to the fact that it gives you a lot of crowd control and you're able to spot what survivor is where in the map. Meaning, hey, do I want to go to factory and see who's in factory? No, I'll use my Bird Eye's View. Now then, let's talk about what interactions Kagan cannot record. Kagan firstly cannot record survivors that have been knocked down, number 1. Kagan cannot record herself being stunned, number 2. Kagan cannot record herself. Kagan cannot record survivors rescuing a survivor, number 3. And of course, Kagan cannot record herself to open a locker, number 4. These are the 4 main things that Kagan cannot record herself or the survivor to do. Okay, then let's talk about Clerk's strategy and guide, I guess, in a nutshell. So, first of all, Bird Eye's View. The Bird Eye View skill, you can use it globally, right? Which means, you can basically disrupt ciphers while walking. You can move while you use the Bird Eye's View. That's like Latia, but easier to use, but less leeway, of course. Number 2. As we have seen in the video, Clerk does not need confined space, okay? She does not need confined space. She can record herself, vault the window, and there's a 10-second confined space right there. They cannot use the window. And in addition to that, she can use the record to block the window. And of course, as we all know, Clerk will record herself right before vaulting the window, meaning like there's no extra movements used. Meaning if you want to block a window immediately, you can block it immediately. Right? And also after vaulting the window, there's an automatic, you're not allowed to use the window for the next 10 seconds. That's confined space for free for you there. So yeah, that's number 2. Number 3. I think we all need to know that Clerk has the hitbox similar to Geisha, but in exchange, Geisha can dash, Clerk cannot do that. Meaning, for people who are like, oh, why will we put down the pallet to help the survivors to vault and get a pallet speed boost? Well, think about it this way, guys. Think about it this way. You're looping at a one pallet area, and then you have a record of survivor putting pallets down. Okay, you use that record, you put the pallet down, right, and then you can get a hit. Because you're not risking getting a pallet stone, right? You're not risking getting a pallet stone. You get a hit, no problem. They take the pallet, they vault speed boost, bye gone. What do you do now? Now, you will record yourself breaking this pallet. And then when the survivor put down the pallet once again, you can use the record to break the pallet without wasting time, without using the pallet animation for Clerk. Can we see how this is like very well done? How this actually works out really well for Clerk. And also, if the survivor puts the pallet down, what can we do? We can record the survivors right before they put it down. Of course, it's going to take a lot of big brain moves for that, but there's so many strategies to use for Clerk. Her record has so much leeway compared to, her bird eye views, her chisel, let's just say it this way. But yeah, that is strategy number 3. Strategy number 4. I know people are saying, oh, Clerk has a 0.2 second nerf. She's going to stay at her original locations for 0.2 seconds for the chip damage. It's not going to affect much. If we think about it this way, right? Galatia's 0.2 second nerf. Oh, of course, you cannot instant statue, but is it affecting as much? Not really as much, right? It's just, people are like, oh yeah, we can quite sculpt now because of the 0.2 second, but still lose. I'm joking, but that's a joke. But it's 0.2 seconds. It's not gonna affect as much. Don't think it's gonna kill her. It's not gonna affect her as much. She has so much mechanics. Okay, the chip damage, no terror shock. I think that's justifiable because nah. You can use the chip damage in a very closed area and you can definitely get the hit, right? Like a lot of areas have tight spaces. If you just think about it, you will rarely see survivors kiting open spaces. So yeah, there you have it for that one. And then number 5. As we all know, Clerk can record herself abnormaling a cipher. Now think about it this way. Clerk can record herself abnormaling a cipher, and then the record can abnormal the cipher once again, but it only applies 50% of the original abnormal. Now, if we take into account of the bird eye view from Clerk, we abnormal one cipher. We use the bird eye view, use the record on another cipher and abnormal. Hey, isn't that strong? Isn't that strong? Isn't that stonk strong? Let's be fair, right? You're controlling 2 ciphers at once. There's 3 ciphers remaining. You're controlling 2 ciphers at once. And I'm sure you can chip damage survivors endgame as well. And of course with phase 2 endgame, there's you can just record survivors and then it'll cut out the useless movements and do the interactions instead. Can you see what I mean here? Invalid also works on cipher gates, so you're not allowed to touch the cipher gates, the exit gates, sorry. Endgame, if you record a survivor doing it for 10 seconds, you can also move while you have the bird's eye view. Can we see how strong this is? She's not weak, but these are the few examples that I can give you as to why Clerk is absolutely strong as hell, right? When she comes out, I mean, sure, we don't know, but we don't know, and she's probably gonna get nerf, which is fine. If she's gonna get more nerf, we can consider the fact that Clerk is actually an S tier. Okay, if she gets more nerf, we can consider that she's an S tier, and she'll remain an S tier, similar to Palun. And of course, that's all what I have today for you guys. I'm Kuroshio the Gaming, and hey, if you enjoyed this one, why not sub, why not like, why not share? I hate doing outros, but bye bye for now. This is the Clerk guide from me, of course.